thank you to all of you for being here. And as Stefan said, especially to Samyak and Rick for traveling in for this event. As Stefan said, Adele has been happening since 2019, which is sort of amazing to think about, and that there have been 56 of these sessions, and that it just feels like something that is, a real part of the literary fabric of the city is pretty wonderful. So thanks for being a part of it. And tonight we get to hear next from Samyak Shertok, whose debut collection is No Rhododendron, was out from the University of Pittsburgh Press, and it was selected by Kimiko Hahn for the 2024 AWP Donald Hall Prize for Poetry. His poems appear in the Cincinnati Review, Gettysburg Review, Iowa Review, Kenyon Review, in Poetry in Shenandoah, Best New Poets, and elsewhere. So many wonderful places. A finalist for the National Poetry Series, the Agnes Lynch Starrett Poetry Prize, and the Jake out of York Prize. Samyak has been awarded the Robert and Adele Schiff Award for Poetry, the Gulf Coast Prize in Poetry, and the Auburn Witness Poetry Prize. Originally from Nepal, he is an assistant professor at Mississippi State University, and today we are delighted to have him as our guest. So, Samyak.
When you're very short, you always struggle, right? Stefan, now I'm thinking, what am I doing with poetry? I should be playing poker. I have not been handed any cash by any organizers yet. Thank you, Emma, for a lovely introduction. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Adele, which is like the coolest name a series could have. But someone did tell me it was because for some reason E was missing from hotel, and it became Adele, which kind of destroyed the charisma of the series name. But still, I think fantastic. Thank you, Bird in Hand, and thank you. It's such a joy and honor to be reading with Rick Gilles, one of the most wonderful people I know, and an incredible poet. And thank you all for being here. Stefan has told me I can have 20 minutes. I'm going to use every second of that. Yes, I came from Mississippi to Boston, to Provincetown, back to Boston here, but you left out Nepal. I came all the way from Nepal, except that was 20 years ago. But still, somehow it feels like that's where I've come from. And you all can hear me okay? Okay. And thank you all for being here. I want to begin where poetry always begins for me, my mother tongue. My mother tongue is Tamang, which literally translates as horse ghost. It's an oral tongue. So as I was working in this collection, at some point I had to contend with the question, how do you write about a language that has no script? Mother tongue, a haunting. In my dream, the horse ghost always speaks in my mother tongue. Ta, horse, ta, root, mon, ghost, mon, dream. I grew up wearing only the hand-me-down ghost. I have never ridden a horse. Once I sat on a moving horse. When the tender, broken thunder broke into a gallop, I spoke in tongue. In the dream, I'm always late to the buckwheat stubble burning, fugitive in a native negative which is only mine, a landfill field, horses. Where did all the horses go? In Tamang, breath, motherland, and teeth come from the same root. Motherless, have you made your mother tongue? Asks the horse ghost. Today, I dream only in Tamang. Today, I speak only to Aman. Stop writing about me. I'm not a ghost yet. Amai scolds me in a ghost tongue. If to speak one's mother tongue is to keep one's mother alive, I kill my mother daily. Fluent ghost, look how fluently I spit in my step tongue. Untongue me, mother, I speak, and the horse ghost rides my lines. Don't forget to give water, mother shouts from the other shore, to the horses before you leave. When the horses birth my motherland, the vultures, there is no way to say this in English. My ghost, my tongue, my horse, my mother, my always a dream, I'm here to tell you it was not a dream. Once I saw a ghost, half horse, whole mother, teeth and teeth, pear blossoms, horses have risen, mother, speak. I should also briefly mention, because the setting is, this kind of settings can, beautiful setting, but a coffee shop can also be a little tricky in terms of like attention and those. And I wanted to share that one time I read at Utah Book Festival, and I had the craziest like audience member reaction. After every poem I read, he would howl full throat after every poem. So if anyone wants to up that, you're welcome. Next I want to read a poem about essentially leaving Nepal. And I learned that a couple of Nepali folks are here. One's will be my South Asian edition publisher, Ajit Parao, is back there. And my high school friend, Puru, is also here. So I thought I would read this poem. This poem is about the Mars conflict, which was a decade-long conflict. At the end of that conflict, I came to the US. And it's essentially the instructions that were given by parents, elders, and each of them is marked X. In a time of revolution, X. At the checkpoint, when they ask you where you are coming from, say home. When someone asks you where you live, point at the neighbor's house. After football, when the guard says, the king gunned down the king, don't join the chorus of Vishnu incarnate, he will never die. X, never wear red. X, never wear gold star. X, at sundown, unplug the landline. X, before bed, leash the dogs. X, practice praying on your knees. X, if we are not home by midnight, go to the neighbor's house. X, never exit the house without a butter lamp burning at Bodhisattva's feet and your student ID. X, when someone asks you, doesn't your Amma teach social studies at the secondary, say, no, she shucks the fire-roasted corn at the bazaar. X, if you find our bed empty when you wake up, don't go to the police. X, practice praying still. X, bolt the windows before listening to the radio. X, never carry your textbooks in a one-color backpack. X, never carry a book with a red sheath. X, if you see us being led away by two boys on the street, think they are my neighbor's parents. X, when a soldier points at the rifle at your heart, don't you know this is the curfew hour, and takes his sweet time with the frisk, look at the stars and think, his hand is my hand. Think, I'm searching myself. X, practice praying prostrate. X, if we aren't back after a week, call the Kathmandu Post. X, when you hear from a window, we have a letter for you from your Appa, keep walking. X, bury the batteries beneath the persimmon tree. X, burn the one polar backpack. X, when someone asks you what your Appa does, remove your beanie to show the shaved head. X, practice praying with open eyes. X, when someone asks you what you believe in, don't say the street dogs that have stopped barking. X, never draw the curtains when there's still light. X, at the checkpoint, when they ask you where you're going, say home. In the middle section, there's a sequence of sonnets, which is an elegy from my father. And the sonnets are inverted. So each sonnet ideally should be read both ways. But also, if you're looking for conventional reading, they're supposed to be read earth to the sky. And it's very much in honor of my devout Buddhist fathers, sort of ancient Himalayan culture where after someone passes, the body is returned to the elements through carrion birds, especially the vultures. So I was thinking, what would it mean to offer each line, each word upward to the empty page, the sky? And what would it mean to come down? What kind of prayer would it be if it was both ways? So I'm going to read you 2 sonnets from there, but I'm going to read both ways. So you're going to get 4 sonnets. My math is all over. So you're going to get 4. A sky burial, sonnets to be read from the earth to the sky. And each sonnet is numbered X as well. X. Enough, but what is there to say to whom? Weigh the tears I won't shed soon. Someone asked from the naked dark, keen eyes, 5 winters ago, won't you say something, time you held my hand on the way to the terminal? Don't touch the body, a voice reminds me, the last into song. I look at her sky displayed on linen, but what can I offer? I have no hands to gather salt. Harder, I want to keep you a little longer. You will make the dead linger. She cries beads. No more Nana, her sister's school. Somewhere behind me, Amma breaks her pear, feathers crushed to black salt. I feel nothing. I kneel beside your bed. I see a crow. I kneel beside your bed, I see a crow, feathers crushed to black salt, I feel nothing. Somewhere behind me, Amma breaks her prayer beads. No more Nana, her sister's school, you will make the dead linger, she cries harder. I want to keep you a little longer, but what can I offer? I have no hands to gather salt into song. I look at her sky displayed on linen. Don't touch the body, a voice reminds me. The last time you held my hand on the way to the terminal, 5 winters ago. Won't you say something? Someone asked from the naked dark, keen eyes weigh the tears I won't shed soon enough, but what is there to say to whom? X. Your cheek, show me how not to write the last line. Close to you, without the terror of touching, for minerals. In these malignant rhymes, I can get them alone. Anna's hummingbirds feed on ash. What if it's the departed who don't want us to leave, to find my right hand strangling my left wrist. A great wet weight pinned me motionless. I awoke, half of you is still caught in my arm. One night, you, half of me is a crow's cursed flight. I again failed to keep you alive. If I am half, to remember is to forsake twice. In this line, what right do I have to spend our secrets on itself? If grief is, like love, never ours alone, if grief is a hunger that grows by feeding, if grief is a hunger that grows by feeding on itself, if grief is, like love, never ours alone, what right do I have to our secrets? To remember is to forsake twice. In this line, I again fail to keep you alive. If I'm half you, half of me is the crow's cursed flight, half of you is still caught in Maya. One night, a great weight pinned me motionless. I awoke to find my right hand strangling my left wrist. What if it's the departed who don't want us to leave them alone? Anna's hummingbirds feed on ash for minerals. In these malignant rhymes, I can get close to you without the terror of touching your cheek. Show me how not to write the last line. I want to read at least one poem about my mom. For my mom, right? How could I not? How could we not, right? This was written in Salt Lake City, where I spent many years as an undergrad and then also as a doctoral student. Dear Mouth of the Horse Ghost, April, Salt Lake City. I woke up to this snow again. I couldn't tell how long it had been snowing, backyard sheathed with powdered breath. I feared for the apricot blossoms. In the living room, I parted the curtains. The hawthorn in the front yard was hacked open. Under the weight of the snow-laden branches, half the tree had buckled, blocking the entrance to the house and the next-door church's driveway. Poor guy, I texted my landlord, along with a picture. Passerines flung themselves into the inverted sky, perched on the live wire. A squirrel crouched still at the end of his snow-padded canopy, his tail hung interrogative. His eyes looked open but did not stir. I thought, the hawthorn is dreaming. Fairies dusting the thorn door from the other side. I'll say a prayer, my landlord texted back. Be up with a saw for surgery. Very old. You are over 80 now, though no one knows the year you were born. The hands that fill the stone house with the smell of butter tea. I don't want to die, you said mid-prayer one night, owing anyone anything. My landlord arrived with his toy poodle and poor social skills. Just a big weed, he spat and put the electric saw to work. From the window, I watched him hew off the tree limb by limb, haul them into a mound of the snow by the apricot. I thought, a small monument of loss. I thought, bonfire. One morning, I'll wake up and you won't be here. If with every sip I remember your hands, what will we owe each other? After the sun opened the sky and the branches began dripping, I went for a walk. The squirrel was gone. Where the tree broke, no rings, a tooth wound. The barren bark of what remained sent forth some green. I'll read a shorter poem. This is form of the ghazal, the sonnet, and the villanelle. It was born out of failure of all other forms. And I figured out, oh, it wants to be all of them. And I think it's partly because I feel like I've lived so many lives. The multiplicity, linguistically, culturally, right, geographically, right, and in some ways artistically as well, right. So because there's a ghazal, the ghazal has a signature at the end, takallus. There is a little nod to that author's signature. So hopefully you will figure that out. When I discovered it, I was over the moon, but that I could do that in this poem. How to Skyberry Your Fatherland, a Ghazanellet. Appa hands him, I should also say, this is also sort of a marriage between Icarus and Skyberry, which I referenced to earlier about the Himalayan Buddhist ritual. Appa hands him a bodhi seed. Never look back, forget this country. He swallows it. For every boy he thinks there is a sky falling. Skyborn, below the silo emptied for his feathers, prophecy of the one-winged Dafe. A voice, half red, half crown, keeps failing, a revolution of, but not for his sisters, in the mouth of the Kali. Is the river ravenous, he wonders, or are the golden jackals falling? In the eye of the cyclone, Urzen-eyed, but today he can only look back. Here the wheat sheaves heave in the wind, Appa's hands filling with plump kernels. But what new moon can recompense an uprooted story? Farther he flies cleaner, he hears the seed music. Not every falling boy is a myth. Some gods live just to hurl boys into the sea. In the exile light, he sees a newborn republic fleeing itself like an effigy into the fire. He will have to skybury the boy, Appa plucking a bone, the vultures flaying a share for his fatherland. For every sky, there is a boy falling. Okay, so I have a couple options. Back to my mother tongue and mother, or self-love. Any preferences? Self-love or back to mother tongue and motherland? Self-love. Self-love? Okay, all right. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. It's been a joy and honor. I should briefly mention this is type of poem where this is like someday I will love in the author's name, right? It's often attributed to Frank O'Hara, but his poem actually, he has really nothing to do with this poem because he's just wrote a poem from a girl's perspective who's like playing the piano, and he just imagines her saying, someday I'll love Frank O'Hara. So that's all the reference there is, but then people took it to a whole different direction and turned it into a sort of pep talk, self-love, sort of instruction poem. Someday I'll love Samyak Shertok. And thank you all for being here. Nomad, no. The heart wrought dust only thirst. What monsoon does the peacock feather she pressed in your counterfeit passport haunt still? Longing is longer. Not every tear is an illiterate mother hauling a jackal from the ashes of an effigy. Let fall the salt. Bless the earth that swallows gorillas like pomegranate seeds and sends forth not elegy. Fame, a flame, it burns. Blindfold yourself with a prayer flag and keep walking past the van marked with zip-tied boys. Nomad, breathe. Here because you are here. In no man's land, every way is the middle way. Don't wait for Dakini. The wound is the lotus. Kiss the moon tongues, the bruised mud honey. You are never alone. Listen. On the wet people branch, griffin vultures speak in tongues, mistaking you for an amanuensis of the dead. Breath is only a breath away from the gurney. Your motherland, son of the sky buried, is forged in pinions. Holding a paper lantern, your daughter searches for you in a city of famished monks. Bless the breath that returns. This exile, a boat, barbed wire gunneled, street dog oared, ferrying you from you to you. You prayed for spring, and here you are, chanting your ancestors' names in a live tongue. Today, nostos to the valley, not yet, there's no leopard grave. Papyrus opens the landlocked land. Persimmons, a bowl of butter tea. Samyak, here, drink.